Welcome, welcome to Showface News. You can call me what you want, just don't call me woke. You know it's the town versus everybody at all times. With the town favorite, Showface News. It's Big Gotham. You heard? Stop playing. The real New York Mayor, F. Eric Adams. You heard? Stop playing. Listen, back again with another one, man. Check it out. And I'm 22. Within the last week, has been getting body bagged by your boy Van Lathan, former TMZ employee. You might know him very well, gang. We gonna react. We gonna get right into it, champs. I ain't wasting no time. Let's get it. Happy Wednesday, gang.
So I'm sure you've been keeping up on what's going on with the whole Elliot Wilson situation. Just for the fans, I'll break it down a little bit, which is basically Elliot made a statement about Drake doing an interview with the little white girl who he has now unfollowed, and the interview has been removed from the internet.
Why'd you call her a little white girl like she not grown, bro? I mean, I get it. She's tiny in size. But that girl, Bobby, she's a grown woman. He said little white girl like she was really... Anyway, let's continue my full game.
We don't know, and I would really love to know. But Elliot made a statement about rappers going to outside of hip-hop platforms to have conversations instead of doing it with people who are actually really within the culture. And, that stood out to a lot of people as kind of a weird statement because Drake obviously gave Rap Radar an interview a couple of years ago. Apparently, Elliot has done 6 interviews with him in total, which I'm sure includes for, print publications back in the day. And, Drake fired back and basically clowned Elliot for doing run and gun style interviews backstage at Rolling Loud. Now, the thing that I find interesting about this is that I can't really think of another time in recent memory where an A-list rapper sort of laid the gauntlet down and said, this is what's cool and this is what's not cool in regards to people doing media. And in particular, into people doing media into their 50s in hip hop. What was your major takeaway from seeing this whole kerfuffle go down?
I'm more interested in who Elliot thinks he is because I think maybe it's possible that Elliot doesn't realize how important he is to the hip hop ecosystem. I think it's probably more. I think it's becoming evident to me. Just I fuck with Elliot. I fuck with B-Dot. That Elliot is maybe looking for something, or he's changed it up a little bit, and he's seems to be like reaching for something a little bit. And like Elliot Wilson is the highest standard of hip hop journalism that there is. There are a lot of people out there that I consider to be on that level. I consider Sway to be on that level. I consider Big Boy to be on that level. I consider Elliot Wilson to be on that level, B-Dot to be on that level. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about like a different tier of interview that you're gonna get. Charlamagne in the Breakfast Club, like when you go there, a serious interview about relevant hip hop topics. Like an interview that when I see, okay, there's a new artist popping up and they do a Rap Radar interview, I'm like, okay, I'm about to really get to know them. I'm not going to hear about all the other bullshit. I'm not going to hear about this. I'm about to really get to know them. And if it's an established artist and it's a Rap Radar interview, it's like I'm about to really get to know them. I'm going to know what they want for their career, musically, where they're from. We're going to get into the ins and outs.
I ain't heard a rap or watched a Rap Radar interview in a minute. I ain't gonna lie, gang. I don't know how many of y'all actually watch Rap Radar. I think most of y'all probably watch like Drink Champs, My Expert Opinion with Math Hall for $1 million worth of game. Rap Radar, has it held any real crazy weight as of late is my question though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really seen in my algae Rap Radar that much. I mean, I'm sure it gets, it gets the press it gets, but at the same time, like, what's the leverage on that though? You know what I'm saying? No disrespect. Let's keep it going though. Smash that like.
Really from a hip hop perspective of that. So I just never saw Elliot as a guy that was like going back and forth with people on Twitter or doing any of that kind of stuff. I never looked at him like that. I never thought that I would see Elliot would be in something with Drake. I expect that from the younger cats. And it might be because we haven't appreciated what Elliot, B. Dot, and Rap Radar have meant. That's like the 60 minutes of hip hop. You know what I mean? That's like a real interview to the point to where, you know, they went out to like fucking Bucharest or something like that to interview Will Smith. You think about the classic joints, Drake, and he's drinking the wine with the ice in it, and you're learning stuff.
Bro said Bucharest. Y'all heard of that? I ain't rich yet, champ. I don't know Bucharest. Just making a mission to make sure Showface gets to Bucharest. We're going to create a GoFundMe for that, you heard? You're going to start the Showface GoFundMe to get Showface to Bucharest. I'm dead serious. I'm not playing. Let's keep it going, no game.
And all of these interviews that they've done. Griselda. Man, Rap Radar is fucking an incredible platform.
But do you feel like that's the opinion of the average hip-hop consumer? Because I feel like if I were to ask about Rap Radar to like 100 people that I've interviewed, that probably large majority aren't going to know what it is.
Why does he have to cater to the average hip-hop consumer?
Well, if you want to be a big hip-hop platform, you're
They
pretty much
already are
going
big.
to have to.
They already
but
are.
Do you think it is actually like doing crazy numbers?
I think that they don't upload enough to be in the same kind of realm as some of these other places because they don't do interviews or do the podcast like every single week or every what they put interviews out in a specific. But Rap Radar is absolutely a staple hip-hop institution and media platform for sure.
I feel like the only one I ever seen was the Drake one, to be totally honest.
So you didn't see JayZ?
So I know I ain't tripping. So I know I'm not bugging. Y'all ain't really seen no Rap Radar interviews. Just let me know in the comments, man. Have y'all really seen any Rap Radar interviews? Like, can y'all count on one hand how many of y'all seen? No disrespect to them. I'm not saying that they ain't put in no work, because obviously they did. But we do understand that in entertainment, you have to remain relevant in order for your stuff to make noise. Like, in order for everybody to know who you are. Like, you're not a household name if you're not relevant. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to them. I'm not saying that they're not a household name. Maybe they were in the past because there wasn't a lot of podcasts when they first came around. You know what I'm saying? I haven't even seen the Rap Radar JayZ interview, to be honest with you. So maybe it's just him, champ. I don't know. He has his own opinions, you dig? But let's keep it going, though. Let's keep it rolling.
What year was that?
So like some years ago. But you didn't see
remember.
Griselda, you didn't see Jack Harlow, you didn't see none of these interviews?
No.
See what I'm saying?
I mean, I interviewed all these people myself, so I'm not going to really like watch another random conversation with them unless somebody tells me that there's something
You've
important.
interviewed JayZ?
No, I've interviewed Griselda or people from Griselda and Jack Harlow.
Right.
So I've never really like tapped in since that Drake one, which I thought was amazing. But I mean, like,
it's a great interview, right?
The weird, yeah, that was one of the best things I ever seen. But the weird thing about it is that if you're Elliot, I mean, I talk about him like a goat because of shit that he did in 2001.
Oh, come on, man.
No, I'm being serious. Like,
It's
that's not shade.
like,
I feel like, and whenever I talk about this Elliot thing, people want to make it like I'm throwing shade.
Come on, bro. But like, I just told you about
The double XL editor run was to me the time in my life where I was the most tuned into Elliot's.
Bro.
You're going to tell me that's not fair for me to have had that experience?
What I'm telling you is it's not Elliot or B Dot's prerogative or fault that you are not up on relevant hip hop interviews that have happened on Rap Radar.
I'm not telling you how the world is supposed to be. I'm telling you what my experience is having consumed their content.
That's wrong. I'm telling
it's
you
wrong for me to have a media
it's
diet.
wrong to say that Elliot Wilson and B Dot haven't been relevant since 2001.
Wow, you said that. I didn't say that.
Okay, so
you just put words in my mouth.
What did you mean by saying that?
I mean that to me, the reason why I talk about Elliot like he's a GOAT is because of his double XL editor run.
Okay, cool. But what I'm telling you right now, though, is that the double XL, and this is another thing, bro. You're going to talk about like something in hip hop. You got to know, you got to do your Googles and your homework. Elliot and B Dot went from the double XL editor run.
You're gonna act like I don't remember the Rap Radar blog now.
Blog era.
Yeah, the blog.
Blog era is great. Have you been keeping up with that?
No.
The blog.
Oh, champ. You on your head now, cause At the same time, whether what he's saying is factual or not, based on what he thinks, based on what he knows, he's seeming way more knowledgeable than you in the aspect of hip hop blogging. When you are one of the hip hop bloggers who are on top, or used to be on top, respectively, he knows a lot more than you. See, what we fail to realize is that this whole gang thing is kind of coming to an end. This whole trend of like drill rapping and all that stuff is kind of sinking a little bit. So remember, Adam 22 is real heavy on the gang culture, especially as of in recent years. And what's happening now is that you want to talk real deal with hip hop, like real knowledge, is kind of out of his realm a bit. He's kind of getting exposed by your boy being Lathan right here because of it. So, yeah, champ. Let's keep it going.
Blog era documentary.
I've heard about it.
Oh, dog, so, bro. I missed the blog era.
It's a bunch of sad stories, right?
It's not a bunch of sad stories.
Well, what happened to all these dudes? All these dudes had platforms early on, and nothing happened to any of them.
Nah, right? It's the blog era is great. Shout out to It's the Real. But no, you know, Elliot and B. Rap Radar is popping. Some of the interviews are classic. All the big artists going.
I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that for me personally, I haven't been tuned in.
So
to me, I call him a legend
though?
Because of the XXL run.
But I think though that there's a whole audience of people that know who Elliot is from the run that they had, specifically when it was on Tidal. I know that it's off Tidal now.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, and so it's no longer on Tidal.
Maybe that's why I didn't see a lot of these, was because I'm not someone who's ever downloaded Tidal, and I don't know if there's an interview that is big enough for me to download Tidal.
So it was a Tidal exclusive, but I think they were also with the Drake one.
It was on his YouTube channel.
It was on his YouTube channel.
Time out. Y'all remember when Tidal had first dropped an app and they was talking about how you gotta pay like almost $40 a month to be a part of it and be a member? Y'all remember that, right? I don't know too many people who even rock with Tidal that tough. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, if you Van Lathan, of course, your friends got bread and they probably do got Tidal, but for the majority of people, a majority of people is broke, gang. We gotta keep it G. The majority of people is struggling. You heard? So I don't know how much Tidal the average person is actually getting to see. I ain't gonna lie. If you know, you know though. Imagine like button, share the video.
It was on Tidal, but then I think it went on his YouTube channel the day after, or it was on his YouTube channel and it went on Tidal the day, whichever way. So a lot of these things, they were on Tidal. These were Tidal exclusive interviews from what I remember. It's not on Tidal anymore, so things might be a little bit different now. But I personally think with him going back and forth, the thing I thought is like, why is Elliot Wilson? That's like fucking Walter Cronkite going back and forth with like Robert Redford or something like that. I would expect somebody else to do that before I would expect Elliot Wilson to go back and forth. And as far as doing the run and gun interviews at Rolling Loud, what, journalists not supposed to talk to rappers? There's more rappers there than anywhere. Go talk to the rappers where the rappers at.
But I guess when people think about what a mega established hip hop media GOAT should be doing, they think of someone doing what Joe Budden is doing or what I'm doing or what Axe doing, where it's like you have your own studio and you get people to come to you.
He does do that.
Maybe you go do it at some studio or at their house, or you pull up on them or whatever to do that content. But what Drake said is basically, you look like Yes Jules. You run around backstage and roll around making a fool of yourself, which I had never really seen it like that in such a black and white way.
I didn't think of it that way either, but
although I will say that when I think about it, I haven't been to a music festival since probably 2019. And
why'd you stop going?
Before we get to that, this black called son Yes Jules, that's messed up, bro. You gotta catch Rick behind that. He calls you Yes Jules. That's a hip hop groupie, bro. That's a bopper, you heard? You violated. You know what I'm saying? Call son Yes Jules is nasty work. But back to 2019, the last time he been to a music festival. Why, champ? Why? Let's talk about it.
Because the shit is terrible. I hate it.
I've never been to one before.
It's the worst, yeah. I mean, no, I support the people who put them on, and I support the people who go to it and stuff, but I personally...
I just remember from your old vlogs and stuff like that, you used to go to them a lot. I was wondering, like...
Yeah, and it's like, you work your ass off, and sometimes you get really amazing content. Sometimes you get on somebody's bus, and you do an incredible 20-minute interview with them, And then other times you just are there and it's like security's ushering people away as soon as they're done their set, and you're trying to, hey, Gunna, hi, Gunna, how you doing? And it's like, you have your good Rolling Loud backstage experiences and you have your bad Rolling Loud backstage experiences. And for me, at a certain point, it just kind of became like, well, am I going to spend all this money to go backstage and like try to make something happen, or am I going to just stay in LA and just keep doing?
Did you think that was something that Elliot shouldn't be doing?
It wasn't really something that I thought of until I saw Drake say it. And then I started to think, well, this is a valid conversation about like what is cool and what's not cool when it comes to being an elder statesman in hip hop doing content.
Do you think that the landscape of a certain type of media is becoming... Do you think that the back and forths and all the media beefs and all the, like, I'm talking about this person and this person, like, what's your opinion of that? Because, like, what it seems like to me now is that Elliot wants to jump into that pool, that he wants to be a part of that. He wants to mix it up.
The more that he's in that pool of having a Joe Budden, having a conversation about him, or a me, or he just went on Academic's podcast or whatever. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure, but it does feel like maybe for a while his name or the content that he was doing was not making as much noise, because you kind of have to put yourself into these arenas so that those people, their fans, will like even look at you as a potential source of content, because there is so much content going on. So I think him going on an Academic podcast probably is for the best, because like look at the conversation we just had where you're like offended that I wasn't as tapped into his content over the last 10 years.
You should have been, no, I ain't gonna lie. We talking about somebody being in the top of the top, the creme de la creme of hip-hop journalism. You should be one of the first people to know about it, because you, for a period, was one of those top people as well. As of right now, somewhere in between, but you definitely were one of those people for sure, especially during the SoundCloud era, that was high on the journalism. You know what I'm saying? So again, for you not to know means you was focusing on things that really wasn't too relevant with, hip hop journalism, but more so gang journalism, champ. Yeah, gang journalism. Let's talk about that. Hit that like, share the video. Let's keep it going.
I wasn't offended. I'm just saying 2001 is a long time ago. This nigga's in the NBA. But were born in 2001.
The thing about that 2001 era is that they were damn near the only show in town. There was The Source, and then there was WXL.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
He basically, grabbed the shovel and started fucking heaping dirt on top of The Source, and that was like an unbelievable experience for me to view as a young hip hop fan. And now the landscape is very, very different, where, people are going to go to Vlad even if they don't like Vlad. If Vlad has a crazy-ass Boosie clip, or they're going to go to, there's a million different people doing content, and it is a very, very different game.
Those are facts, though. But still, why you ain't know about Elliot, champ? Why you ain't know about your boy Elliot? Huh, champ? That's all I'm asking. That's all me and Lathan is asking. But, as of right now, and they got a bunch of these clips from No Jumper with me and Lathan just violating Adam 22. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about this, champ, man. Do y'all think that Adam 22 is purposefully getting humiliated on a month-to-month basis with different types of things because he knows people doesn't like him, so he's looking as a source of cloutage gain? Yeah, I mean, gaining clout, You let me know what y'all think. Y'all think he purposefully just trying to get violated on purpose because he know that's going to draw attention? Or do you think this man is definitely, just a possible airhead, gang? You let me know what you think in the comments, though. But I don't want y'all thinking the show is over or that the show is ever done, because the show is never over. And the show is never done. But one thing you must always keep in mind is that you got to make sure you stop playing, because playing is not cool, gang. Stop playing. We got a lot of content coming on, but please stop playing. You heard? Button.